Welcome back, guys. I'm Zell, and today we're talking about the Spyderco Chaparral. Alright guys, there she is, our Spyderco Chaparral. And the Chaparral is kind of a neat little knife. Comes in a variety of handle materials and designs. And it's meant as a Gents folder, and I think it really does a good job in that space. We've got a closed length of just over 3.5 inches, a handle thickness of a very skinny 0.34, and a closed height shorter than most Spydercos. Still a little big in this category, but it's a little less than 1.4, so shorter than most Spydercos, but still, kind of tall for this category of knife. As we look around it, we've got nice hardware. It's got deep enough recesses. You shouldn't be stripping out any Torx bits if you need to disassemble it. And we have this carbon fiber scale. And I'm really not sure if that's an overlay or if that's a full piece of carbon fiber. But either way, it looks good and it has a nice texture to it. And as we roll the knife around, everything back here is well put together. It is, the traditional knife guys look at this stuff very, very seriously, and this would pass muster with almost any traditional knife guy. It is just really, really well put together. And whenever we roll over to the other side, we have our wire pocket clip, tip up, left or right hand, and it has a nice darker color to it, so it'll blend in with most office attire. Your navy blues, your browns, blacks, etc. And that is a very nice touch. As we roll it around to the top, we can see, of course, it's a well-centered little blade. And we have a little bit of jimping up the thumb ramp. Very, very nicely done. And we should probably do a little bit of size comparison. Since we are looking at this style of knife, here is a Sage 5 and a Mannix. And this will become important here in a couple of minutes because look at these handle shapes. Very, very similar. And here, of course, is our Delica and our SE Zancudo. So this guy is smaller than your Zancudo and your Delica. And it's really meant as a gentleman's office carry knife and that sort of thing. So let's get a look at our blade. Our blade is a piece of CTS XHP, wonderful steel, at 2 3/4 inch long with a 2.3 or so cutting edge. And here's the neat part. It's got a blade thickness of 0.079 or 2 millimeters, which makes this, if you're looking for that apple slicer or celery chopper for lunch at work, this is your blade. It's going to do a wonderful job because full flat ground, Spyderco leaf shape, and super thin behind the edge. That secondary bevel I put on this thing is at about 15 degrees, and see how skinny that secondary bevel is? It is a very, very thin little blade all the way across, which makes it a great cutting blade and a great gents knife or office carry knife. And also, it only weighs 2.43 ounces. So, wow. It is just a really, really nice little knife. And back to that pocket clip. Let's get our Levi's out. Probably should have some slacks for this one, but we got Levi's, so that's what we've got. That's what we'll use. As we can see, we got just a little bit of the carbon fiber sticking out. Deep carry clip. It's got that waterfall design. And the nice dark color, even on a pair of jeans, it's going to be somewhat inconspicuous. We hold it up like that. We've got our standard Spyderco lift there. That one thing to note, it is the wire pocket clip, and as I've said before, the coolest thing about the wire pocket clip is the fact that it's rounded on every surface. So whenever you back up or run into things as you're moving through the office or the shop or wherever, it's much less likely that you're going to scratch anything up with this pocket clip over your standard square pocket clips, square edged pocket clips. So the wire pocket clip is just a beautiful thing all the way around. And from here, we're going to go on to our pause and read card, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, so we are running on Spyderco's standard sleeve and 2 torque screw pivots, and I'm not sure if there's even any bushings down in there. That thing is fit together extremely tight. And you know, if there aren't any, that's okay. I have not disassembled this thing, so we'll just have to trust that Spyderco has done the right thing. And our lock mechanism is a standard back lock. We don't have the little dent here like you would in, say, a Delica, where you have this little area there that's indented or raised so that supposedly you won't unlock the knife. Okay, well, I've never had a lock back, mid lock back, any of them unlock on me even under hard use, so I don't think that's a worry. And this is not, with the blade thickness, this is not a knife that you want to be bearing down on to the point that you would be doing that anyhow, so I think that's fine. Now, I do like this area here where we have the angles instead of the rounded. I just like that look, and it doesn't seem to impair the operation of the lock any at all. And as we move on into ergonomics, remember earlier I said to get a look at the Sage and that Mannix 2 lightweight? Well, good reason. This knife is just a slightly smaller version of the Sage, or a lot smaller version of the Mannix. Very similar handle design. Whenever you roll your hand around it, everything just fits. Now, if you got medium-large hands like me, your jimping here is a little far back, a little too far this way. And you know, that's okay. It kind of gets right here where I'd like to have it right there, but you know, that's okay. It's still good. And you know, and it's good no matter how, just like any of the Spydercos, no matter how you need to get a hold of it, you're in good shape. As far as the thumb hole location, it's very good. Makes it pretty much an ambidextrous knife. And you know, Spyderco just does a good job with these things. It's a Sal Glesser design, and it's a darn good one. Well guys, that was a Spyderco Chaparral. It's a pretty darn neat little knife, especially for that Gents folder. My only real issue with it is it makes kind of a little box in your pocket. And you know, there are much smaller knives out there that are in a similar vein. You have even ZT's 0450 is not much bigger than this guy, but much shorter in this dimension. However, if you're a Spyderco guy, this is one super slicer. It is a wonderful little knife when it comes to that attribute with that thin little blade. Oh man, it is just freaking awesome there. And it comes with that CTX XHP, CTS XHP, which is phenomenal steel in my opinion. Now, if I didn't mention in the camera down, the one issue I did have with the XHP is whenever I was sharpening it, I got about a 3 or 4 thousandths ribbon of steel that rolled off the edge in a little line, and it's, you know, a little odd. However, it's something that happens between heat treat and finish grinding and that sort of thing. Sometimes, if people aren't paying attention or the heat treat goes a little wonky, not bad heat treat, just a little bit wonky, you get an edge that may not be perfect. It may have some problems. Now, this an edge that comes out like that, like with the S110V from Spyderco, if you get one of those blades, especially one of the earlier ones, you had to sharpen that thing pretty seriously a couple of times and make sure you had raised that apex up from where Spyderco had it, because it would just fall apart. And I think I had kind of the same thing going on here. It's not a big deal. I just wanted you to be aware of it if you happen to get one of these and you run into the same problem. Just sharpen past it and everything will be fine. But anyhow, the Chaparral, guys, it is a wonderful little Gents knife. And I like it a lot. I probably wouldn't carry one very much, but you know, if I did work in an office on a regular basis, yeah, it'd be a good one. Anyhow, guys, I really appreciate you stopping by and talking knives with me for a few minutes. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.